Welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. And this week, robots in disguise. We're talking about Transformers! Cue the music! Hello there, capers, and as I said, welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. My name is Scott James Merridew, and this is the show where we talk about various geek and nerd-related topics, and are joined each week by a very special different guest. You know this guy by now. It's Mark Russell, ladies and gentlemen.
Wick runner, Wick ninny bong.
What?
Some of you will get that reference.
Not me.
That was a universal greeting in Transformers.
Okay. See, here's the thing, capers. I don't know shit about Transformers. The only thing I really know about Transformers is I saw the first two Michael Bay movies, which was too many, and I saw one episode of one of the cartoons when I was a kid. Briefly, in passing, they were blind for some reason. I don't know.
Beast Wars, so you're on the right track.
Yeah. Vague recollections of one of the cartoons from years ago, and I only remember one bit of it.
Well, that was a good episode. So good, you have good taste.
I was just randomly flipping through channels. It's not that's
Destiny says so. Destiny took you there, and now it has brought you here.
Yes, it's brought me here to get another history lesson from Mark.
Yay!
He's taught us about Disney, he's taught us about Sonic, and now he's gonna teach us about Transformers. Really, instead of me, it should be Michael Bay here, giving him a piece of your mind, but he wasn't available.
Yes, well, he actually went to quote-unquote Transformer school when he got the job for the movies, and apparently that didn't sink into his head.
I mean, it's better that he goes to the school than he refuses not to go to the school. But if you have to, that's that. We're not here to talk about the movies, though. We're not here to talk about the movies. Maybe reference them here and there. But we're here to talk about the cartoons, which, like I said, I haven't seen any of except for this one bit of this one episode, which you said was Beast Wars.
Yes.
So they're robot beasts.
We'll get to that.
Oh, will we? Okay. And there's people call these, well, let's just start with the origins of Transformers. And the origin of Transformers was that they were made to sell toys.
Yes, that's kind of obvious. See, in the 1980s, I believe Ronald Reagan lifted some laws in his country that forbid basically children's TV commercials. Because this was the age of like, oh no, we can't show them TV commercials. They may do stupid things,
like buy things with the money they don't have.
Exactly, they'll steal their parents' wallets and go buy these outrageous toys.
First pizza is a vegetable, now this.
Oh, good grief! So the Reagan administration lifted these rules, and that led to the flooding of the 80s with all of these toy-based TV shows like Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, He-Man, Thundercats.
Yeah, but a lot of these shows, whilst they did sell toys, they initially started off as something else. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles started off as a genuine comic book. It was a satire of various things, but then the toys came, and then the cartoon came, and it developed into this big multimedia marketing merchandising franchise. But the whole point of them wasn't to sell toys in the first place.
Well, for most of them, apart from Ninja Turtles, it was to sell toys. And that was definitely the case for Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
Transformers still is, made by Hasbro, who at the time they're behind Mr. Potato Head and Monopoly and stuff like that. They had revived their G.I. Joe franchise, which was quite popular, I think, in the 60s.
G.I. Joe!
Exactly. And I think it was quite popular in the 60s, 70s, I believe, and they revived it as the TV show and the new toy line. And then they start looking for other things to sell and promote. So they went to the Tokyo Toy Show in 1983, and it's where their reps found the numerous transforming robot lines of the toy company Takara. And I said, oh, I know, let's take all these things, let's put them all together, and we can make a brand new franchise called the Transformers. So in a way, they borrowed these toys from Japan and repurposed them into the Transformers.
As of most popular things, it started in Japan.
But of course, we know that Japanese love their robots, the giant transforming robots.
I mean, we love our big robots over here and in America. You seen Pacific Rim Uprising yet?
Yes, it's really fun.
I thought it was fun.
Not as good as the original.
Okay, here's the thing. I just want to have a little side about Pacific Rim, since we're talking about giant robots. It makes sense. I get the appeal of Pacific Rim. I have enjoyed these movies too, I guess. I enjoy them in, like, it's something to visually spectacular to look at. Sorry, I'm still getting over my cold. Jeez. So it's visually spectacular to look at, but they do nothing for me. I walk out of every time I've seen both those movies, I just walk out of it feeling nothing. Just feeling. I talked about this last week. I saw Pacific Uprising, A Wrinkle in Time, Peter fucking Rabbit.
Why?
And Proud Mary. Proud Mary was the only one of those films that didn't even make me feel unbelievable rage or complete sense of just emotional nothing.
Why did you go see the Peter Rabbit movie?
Because I wanted to be able to argue and rant about it.
Do you enjoy being punished?
I have a bit of a masochistic streak, I'll admit. But I thought I talked about this last episode. Maybe it would be good. Maybe the marketing would be horrible because, sometimes we get bad trailers for good movies, and that was not the case. I refer you to my previous slightly too long mini rant that I subjected poor Orlando to. But that's a story for another day. We're not talking about stupid little bunny rabbits. We're talking about stupid giant robots.
Indeed. Well, Transformers was also going to be a TV show, but it needed a story. So they...
Ha! A cartoon in the 80s have a story? What nonsense you're talking about.
They turned to Marvel Comics to get the story done.
Well, if you want a story done, go to Marvel.
And so they brought together Tim Shooter, Dennis O'Neil, and Bob... probably pronounced his name wrong. Bob Budiansky?
Do you mean Jim Shooter?
Yeah, sorry, what did I say?
Tim Shooter.
Sorry, Jim Shooter, sorry.
Okay.
Jim Shooter, Dennis O'Neil, and Bob Budiansky to flesh out the characters in the storyline. So we got also, from there, we got the Marvel comics, which was their own thing. We got the cartoons and the toy lines. So there was kind of this, I don't know how to put it, retroactive assigning names and character personalities to these established toys. So all these ones who become vehicles could be the good guys. These ones who become planes and guns could be the bad guys. So then you have the Autobots.
Why are they so anti-plane?
I don't know. I suppose because they wanted to have the bad guys as the military-esque vehicles, and the good guys would be all the cars and stuff.
Wow.
I wasn't alive then. This was before I was born.
It's before I was born as well. I'm not criticizing you, Mark.
It is beyond our understanding. Back then, good guys and bad guys were more black and white.
Yeah, there was not a lot of subtlety or nuance. This is your fault, Starscream. Next time, G.I. Joe. Next time. That was basically it.
Yeah, pretty much, except wrong franchise.
Oh, drat! Curse you, He-Man!
That is correct.
I love Skeletor. I'm sorry.
Yes, he's so super money. He's so super money, Mark. He doesn't even know it.
What? I don't know why, but I feel the spirit of Christmas, and I must save the children. The Christmas special. I'm sorry. Oh, Christmas Skeletor, save us all.
Then again, he was saving Christmas before Jack Skellington did.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. So not a lot of subtlety or nuance. It was all very, very, very bland and basic. Not like the cartoons we have now. Well, okay. Actually, say that cartoons are now very much divided into the actually really conceptual and interesting cartoons and the really shit ones. And a lot of that is coming from Disney on both sides, actually, because Disney have things like Gravity Falls and starve us the forces of evil and wander over yonder. But they also have shit like the new Spider-Man cartoon and all sorts. It's a real mixed bag now. There was a time when cartoons, it's sort of around the Avatar: The Last Airbender era, when most cartoons, if not all cartoons, were actually pretty good, because we're coming off all the, not the necessarily shit ones, but the dated one from the 90s.
Well, the 90s were all the 90s were quite slapstick and adult, weren't they? Like Animaniacs and Ren and Stimpy and things like that.
Yeah, but they also had things like X-Men and Spider-Man.
Gargoyles.
Yeah, so the 90s were sort of a growing up thing, and some of it didn't work, some of it did. And then we sort of mellowed out into like the early 2000s, where things got pretty good with things like Avatar and stuff like that. But now it's like some people are trying to evolve further, and other people are just being really fucking lazy.
Indeed, Teen Titans Go.
Oh god, yeah. Even me, massive DC hater, liked the original Teen Titans cartoon. Jeez,
Indeed.
This is just and it's almost like this sort of sedimentary rock layer fossilized view of history through the eye of children's animation we're looking at. And this is Transformers is basically the foundation, well, not the foundational layer, I think perhaps the Super Friends and stuff like that.
But it created it was part of the generation where commercialization and advertising became a big part.
Yeah,
because it's part of the generation why we have lunch boxes and bags and stuff like that with familiar faces on it.
Oh god, yeah. Well, Star Wars had something to do with that as well. But this is
I
the
don't know.
cartoon.
Just go point. Star Wars actually kicked the whole thing off because they realized just how.
But that wasn't a cartoon though.
No, but the toys are crazy.
Okay.
I highly recommend you watch the Netflix series, The Toys That Made Us, which explain how like the most popular toy franchise of all time became gods.
Basically, yeah, and that's basically how we got where we are today with action figures with like 150 points of articulation.
Indeed. So yeah, the story of Transformers is
The first cartoon,
the 1984 one. It's set on the planet Cybertron, where the Autobots and Decepticons have been at war for each other for forever, basically. The Autobots are led by Optimus Prime, voiced by Peter Cullen, and
who
Decepticons
still does the
voiced
voice.
by...
Doesn't he still do the voice?
Well, he did it in the 80s, then he came back for the movie, and he's been doing it ever since.
Wow, that's dedication to a role.
And the Decepticons are led by Megatron, voiced by Frank Welker.
Oh, the god of all voice actors.
Apart from Mel Blanc.
Oh yeah, obviously the greatest living voice actor.
Yes.
Currently working today.
Apart from maybe Jim Cummings, but you know.
Oh, I like Jim Cummings. I like him just as well as you do. But let's be honest, Frank Welker more prolific.
Yes, that's good. Actually, he used to be the most highest paid actor in Hollywood until Samuel L. Jackson.
Frank Welker?
Yes.
I believe that.
Yeah. He's everywhere. So yeah, the Autobots and Decepticons realize they're running out of their fuel source, Energon, so they both jump into spaceships, fly to Earth, crash land there because they both like shooting each other, because shooting each other in space is a great idea.
Yeah.
They both crash into a mountain, which I believe is supposed to be Mount St. Helens in Washington State. And they wake up a billion or so years later in the 80s, and they take on the disguises of trucks and cars and planes and guns and boom boxes and whatever else is available to continue their
sex
war.
toys.
No! There actually is a character called Erector.
Oh no. They had no idea what they were doing in the 80s. Either that, or they knew exactly what they were doing, and they were seeing what they could get away with.
Well, half the characters in He-Man raise an eyebrow.
Oh, yeah.
So they actually got...
You can't even handle that muscle-browned... that She-Ra! Oh, really? And what about how He-Man handles you? Oh, wait, no, I got the characters mixed up. But the point is, there's a lot of innuendos. Yeah. Filmation, it was a good place.
Yeah, so they actually got a pretty good lineup of script writers for the TV series. Amongst them were Donald F. Glut, David Weiss, Jerry Conway, who created The Punisher.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Len, might be pronounced Len Wayne or Wine, who co-created Wolverine, and Marv Wolfman, who co-created Blade. So that's a pretty good lineup of people.
That's a lot of Marvel alums there. A lot of people that are big in the industry. God, yeah, that's And how did it turn out?
Well,
oh God.
Because again, I didn't grow up with this cartoon. I grew up with Beast Wars, which came afterwards. So, in my opinion, it's a mixed bag because obviously the show was meant to sell toys. So they usually introduced at least, because to begin with, they have at least 30 characters, and over the first season they introduced like 10, 20 more, and then the second season there's a whole bunch of new characters. Like, where did they come from? Oh, they were here all along. So like.
Because we need to sell more toys.
Yeah, but the good thing is every new character introduced at least gets some sort of focus episode, which I'll give them that for. But obviously, the quality of these TV shows, no offense to the loyal fan base, of course, because I'm a member of the loyal fan base, but they vary.
You're allowed to be a member of a fan base, but still have a critical eye of the thing that you love. Just because you love something doesn't mean that it's flawless.
I know. So often they could be, well, stupid, cheesy, completely inconsistent with their own rules and continuity. Dialogue was as goofy as hell. The animation was often quite, glitchy is not the right term because it's hand-drawn, so it was quite a lot of errors and stuff. Characters with the wrong colors, they got names wrong, that sort of thing. But this was early days. But yeah, a lot of people love these cartoons and these characters because they emphasize the fun of being a kid and having your own adventures with these toys. And the first series is referred to as Generation 1 or G1 because it comes first, obviously. And these designs have been used again and again, particularly mostly in the comics because the cartoon is its own thing, and there's been countless different comic books over the years from Dreamwave and IDW comics. So yeah, I know the movies are pretty big nowadays, but
they're getting a reboot, aren't they?
Thank God! Yay!
Yeah, because they're doing. I don't know if Bumblebee is the reboot or it's going to be happening. The reboot is going to be happening after Bumblebee.
Like, I'm just going with the Bumblebee prequel as the last film, and then they're going to reboot it with the rest of their movie plan. So they might be they might be going with the original plans but adding Transformers in too.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe once the reboot happens or this Bumblebee comes around, I'll give them another shot. But I mean, you know what? Let's take this opportunity to talk about the live action movies. I saw the first one. It was crap, but it's that tolerable crap where it's like, this isn't very good, and this is clearly very exploitative and just horrible, but it's not offensive.
No.
The second one was fucking offensive.
Indeed, because it was a quote-unquote victim of the 2007 writers' strike. And honestly, how on earth why do you need to lock 3 writers in one room and try to make a script out of a franchise which has been around for, at least then was around for 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, it's not difficult to come up with a passable script for Transformers. Just a couple of hints. Don't give the Transformers bollocks. Don't make any of them racist caricatures. Maybe dial down the sex appeal, bearing in mind that a lot of your audience will be children. And try and make your characters somewhat likable.
Indeed.
Not difficult. Really not difficult.
Not difficult at all. If the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles their 1990 movie is extraordinarily great, so why is it that Transformers can't have the same thing? Oh, I know why. Because they had Michael Bay in the director's chair.
He's a hack.
What was it? Because he was invited by Steven Spielberg to direct it, and the first thing he apparently said, was, "I don't want to do a stupid kids movie about toys. Have you seen Toy Story? Hello."
Again, This ties into something that I said got on this show, especially recently, about how just because it's for kids doesn't mean it has to be stupid.
Oh, and the fact, if Steven Spielberg called me up and said, "Hey, want to do a Transformers movie?" I'd say, "Where do I sign?"
Yeah, like yes, absolutely. And it's like if Steven Spielberg made a living out of making kids movies and kids stuff, like Animaniacs with E.T., it's and again, sort of appealing to that sort of idea with Ready Player One and stuff like that. It's so stupid. But as he was clearly the wrong person to get. I mean, okay, so who do we want about this? Make this fun adventure movie involving Transformer robots? Let's get the guy who did Armageddon. And I mean, I like Armageddon, but really, really. And it only got worse from there.
Oh boy, yes.
The fucking third one, which I didn't even bother to see.
It's not bad. I mean, they at least try to do a story in it, but it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, and then there was the fourth one where all the Autobots are evil for some reason, which I didn't see.
Oh, long story. They're not evil. It's just that they blew up Chicago in the third movie, and then decided they were now outlaws.
Oh, of course.
And then the fifth movie, it got too complicated.
They got Anthony Hopkins.
Actually, he was the best part of the movie because it had him and Jim Carter as a robot driving around in a chase scene, mouthing off and stuff. It's hilarious.
And before that, they had Kelsey Grammer and Stanley Tucci. They get all these big name actors that are clearly just there for the money. But I don't blame them for that because actors, it's a job, but still, it's just. Did anyone even care? Did anyone even see that one?
I've seen all of them because I'm obligated to.
How many people were in the theater when you went to go see it?
It was packed.
Oh no, that's even worse.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go see the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah.
Because it might be because Haley Stanfield's gonna be in it, so there might be, and John Cena, so that might be some fun.
Oh well, sign me up, fucking hell.
Michael Bay is not directing it.
What right does fucking John Cena have to suddenly be a good actor?
I don't know. The Rock's been doing it for the past 20 years.
The Rock's been doing okay. He's gotten a lot better recently, but he started off, he wasn't so great. But John Cena pretty much hit the ground running. He's actually a pretty decent actor now. And it's just like, okay, all right, fine. I guess this is the world we live in now.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Well,
we're getting way off track now. Okay, so those the live action movies. Okay, I guess, for really, really, really low expectations. Crap. Future might be slightly brighter. I wouldn't hold my fucking breath. But there was a movie before all of this, wasn't there?
That is true.
You got the touch.
You got the power.
After all is said and done.
Are you sure you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, no, but I know that song because it's the most fucking awesome song ever made ever.
Hell yeah. So at this point, this is 1986, so the TV show's been chugging along for 2 seasons now. Everyone loves it.
Naturally, they're going to make a movie.
Yeah, they made a movie. So you've got at this point, all the characters are now like well loved. You've got Megatron, Optimus Prime, Starscream, Bumblebee, Soundwave, all that lot. So, but the problem is while the fans, they loved it, Hasbro still viewed it as a toy line that needed to be promoted. So for them, they were like, oh, I know, let's get rid of the old toys and introduce those new ones. The kids will love that. So how do they go about doing it? They massacre them all.
Oh, God, yeah.
They the Autobots are all die.
Kids, you know these characters that you love? Yeah? Well, we're gonna fucking murder them. No! But it's okay because we've got these new ones. You like these just as much, right? No? Well, nope. Tough shit!
Yeah, because so in the first half an hour of the movie, it's the final battle between the Autobots and Decepticons. Everyone is just brutalized in this. They're shot, they're stabbed, they have their limbs blown off, they're melted.
Because they're robots and they can't bleed. They can show as much violence as they want. It doesn't matter that these are thinking, feeling, sentient creatures that can feel pain. No. Because there's no blood, we can get past it. Fuck you, censors.
Yeah, because originally, from what I heard, well, here there was going to be a sequence which was basically a reference to the charge of the Light Brigade, which had the entire Autobot cast charging for a gauntlet, and only those toys that were going to be renewed will make it to the end. So it's going to be like watching it. It'd be like watching the entire Avengers cast get killed off in 5 seconds and get replaced by a new cast, which we wouldn't want to see. And the first act ends with Optimus Prime and Megatron effectively beating each other to death.
Which I haven't seen this fight, but I bet it's 10 times better than the one they had in 3, the live-action 3 movie.
It's spectacular. It's the highlight of the whole film. And it has Optimus Prime dying on an operating table.
Oh, God.
In a very slow, drawn-out, moving sequence where Optimus is slowly dying. He gives the resident MacGuffin the matrix of leadership to his pal Ultra Magnus and says that another Autobot will come along to save the world, basically. And he slowly dies, and it's just because this is the generational thing that Superman was supposed to be in Batman vs Superman. You have this where everyone is in tears. People had to be dragged out of the cinema crying. They locked themselves in a room.
Arms of the angels.
Yeah, pretty much. And you've got Superman, Batman vs Superman. He dies. There's nothing. How do you feel? How do you do that?
Oh, he's dead.
Exactly.
I sure feel bad about this character that I've known for 2 films.
Exactly. So because Optimus Prime is one of those characters who embodies American
2 seasons and a movie's worth of character.
Yeah, so like 3 years of characterization. He is the embodiment of American ideals and stuff, and he dies a slow, painful death on an operating table. And as for Megatron, after Optimus beats the hell out of him, Starscream chucks him out into space, like, bye! So
this is your fault, Megatron! Yeah! I said it, bitch! I said it this time! Fuck you!
He doesn't exactly do it like that. So Megatron is flying through space.
Does Starscream turn up as a ghost in one of the cartoons?
I'll get to that, because it's very confusing how that works. So Megatron's flying through space. He is found by Unicron, a giant planet-eating former voiced by Orson Welles.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and this is everyone's really surprised. Yeah, really, this was literally 5 days before he died. They got Orson Welles to voice Unicron, and he had no idea what he was really doing. But the fact that he went out doing the Transformers cartoon is awesome.
I mean, wow! I'd heard that he'd done it, but I didn't know who was playing at what point was. I didn't know it was 5 days before he died. Blimey. Is he as good in the movie as I imagine he would be?
He's amazing in it. Because Unicron is basically the devil of the Transformers franchise. He's Galactus as the Death Star. And he can transform into a giant robot in space, and he can smash planets apart with his fist.
That is so stupid and so awesome at the same time. My mind can't comprehend it.
It's awesome. So he basically...
Voiced by Orson Welles!
Yes, Orson Welles. Well, I suppose it's appropriate. He began his career in War of the Worlds, and he ended his career in Transformers, both with aliens.
As a world thing, planet,
yeah,
Death Star.
It's a planet. So wow. Megatron makes an agreement with Unicron to go find and destroy the Matrix, and he is reborn into Galvatron, who for this movie is voiced by Leonard Nimoy. So that's even better.
Oh god, and he turned up in one of the live action movies, didn't he?
Yeah, he was Sentinel Prime, and oh god, that was a terrible character. Because I hate to say this, but Leonard Nimoy is actually related to Michael Bay.
What?
By blood.
What?
Apparently they're distantly related through marriage or something like that.
Oh, was it not by blood then?
No, I think it's marriage actually. I might be wrong.
Okay, well, either way, that's I mean, 2 polar opposites. Jeez.
Yeah, and there's also I think my favorite moment in the whole film is when Galvatron crashes Starscream's quote-unquote coronation to become Decepticon leader.
I imagine like a really fancy reception area where Starscream is like, now I'm the prettiest Decepticon in all the land.
Well, he is wearing a crown.
Oh god, yes.
And he's got a big cape on, and Galvatron flies in and is like, "Coronation, Starscream, this is bad comedy." And Starscream's like, "Megatron, is that you?" And Galvatron just blows him to pieces. He turns to ash, and he crushes his crown beneath his foot. It's like, would anyone else attempt to fill his shoes? And I was like, nope, no, we're good.
You're the prettiest, Galvatron. You're the prettiest.
So, literally half an hour in, Megatron, Optimus Prime, and Starscream are all dead. And we follow the new...
What, half an hour?
Yeah, like literally half an hour in, they're all dead. They're all gone.
Oh my god!
So, and it's still an hour to go, so we have to follow these not bad characters.
Just new characters that we don't care about and have no connection to.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and because this film takes a lot of inspiration from Star Wars, all the characters are basically replugs of the cast from the fourth film. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So you've got the Luke Skywalker, you've got the Han Solo, you've got the kind of Princess Leia-ish character who's not a princess. So, and then it's they got some interesting things though. The music is kick-ass, by the way. It's done by Vince DiCola, I think that's his name, and it's very a lot of synthesizers, electronics, and kick-ass heavy metal music. Yeah, you were singing earlier.
Stan Bush, man, Stan Bush.
Stan Bush, and they got some pretty good line for voice actors. I mean, you got Orson Welles, you've got Leonard Nimoy, you've got Judd Nelson in there from The Breakfast Club. John Machita Jr., who is the fastest talking man in the world, as Blur.
Oh, is that the guy who did the Micro Machine thing?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's right. And who else? And Eric Idle was in it as well.
Really?
Yeah, they got Eric Idle in it. I think he had no idea what he was doing.
Always look on the bright side of Unicron.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I struggle to remember the name. Cybertron. That was the name of the planet.
Cybertron. Although there's the whole complicated thing with Cybertron is in fact also a Transformer. Named Primus, who is the god of Transformers, but that's not actually relevant to the cartoons. Weird enough. So, and they also got somewhere with Al Yankovic too. Dare to be stupid.
Okay.
So it's a pretty impressive soundtrack.
That is a very 80s awesome cast.
Yeah, it's a pretty good. So the film had a limited release, and it was pretty much obliterated by critics because they saw its purpose for what it was, a giant advert. But for the fans, it had changed everything because Optimus Prime was dead. All the characters they loved were either dead or would be slowly removed from the cast over the years. So Hasbro realized how much these people loved it, so they backtracked and pretty much resurrected Optimus Prime from the dead about a year later.
Chuck some of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ooze on him. He'll be fine.
I can't remember how they resurrected him, but he's like, I am back. He's like, I'm back, and nothing in the world will stop me now.
Well, I mean, it's Marvel. They bring back dead characters all the damn time, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. So actually, and they bring him back, and 3 episodes later, it kind of ended. The show kind of ended.
What do you mean it kind of ended?
It ended. They're going to do a 4th season. They did 3 episodes, and that was it. The cut-off point. They ended like that.
Why?
I don't know.
And what do you mean you don't know? This is a history lesson with Mark Russell. You can't just say you don't know. What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. It just ended.
Does anyone know?
I've looked high and low for information on why it stopped, but I can't find anything.
So they just did 3 episodes, and that was it?
Well, then Japan did their own thing, and they continued the G1 cartoon, but they never dubbed it. So there's this 3 or 4 Japanese cartoons or Transformers which have never been dubbed or released in the West before.
That is bizarre.
It's very bizarre, which is ironic because then later on down they did more Japanese cartoons which were then dubbed into English, and they weren't related to the G1 continuity.
What?
I don't get it.
I don't get it. It's your job to help me understand this shit, Mark. You're a bad teacher.
If I don't understand it, how are you supposed to understand it?
You wouldn't see an actual history teacher saying, do this.
No
okay, so one day, kids, it was 1914, and then World War I happened. Why?
I can't be expected to know everything. I can't be expected to know everything.
Yes, you can. I expect you to know everything.
No, I can't.
Okay, what happened next?
Well, the comics still going on with G1. They have been going on forever. Pretty good quality. I've never read them myself, but you see some things and they're pretty impressive because they weren't afraid to be a bit more adult with the characters. They gave them all story conflicts and stuff, which the cartoons only occasionally did.
Okay. Again, just because you have a story and a conflict does not make it more adult. Just makes it more sophisticated.
I suppose you put it that way. So
I know you're on my side with me this, Mark, but I am desperate to change our way of thinking about this. I will spread my influence across the land.
I'm glad you have such good motivations and intentions. So after that, there was apparently there was Generation 2, which from what I understand was more comics, more toys, but the cartoon didn't have its own. There wasn't a Generation 2 cartoon, and they just re-aired old G1 episodes. But then there was Beast Wars.
Okay.
Which is awesome, and I shall try to not ramble on too much about how much I love this show, because it is the best show.
Why don't you just explain why you love it?
Okay, so the Beast era, as it's called, introduced the next generation of Transformers called the Maximals and the Predacons, who were descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons.
So that, hey, we've got this thing about giant robots, let's turn them into animals.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was the new gimmick of it. All the characters transformed to animals, and at this point, the internet had been invented. So now forums and chat rooms could exist for fan bases to talk about their favorite shows. You can probably guess how they reacted to the idea of transforming animals, like every fan base in the world.
Not well.
Not well. Some people didn't take to it very well. They thought it was going to be the original cast in new bodies, and that their complaints was immortalized by the infamous, which is now a meme, a term which says "truck not monkey."
Truck not monkey.
Yes, it's a paraphrased version of someone's rant in poor spelling. It says it's supposed to be a truck, not a monkey. Because Optimus Primal was a monkey, and the Beast Wars instead of a truck.
Wait, so they were called. He was called Optimus Prime.
Different character. It's his descendant, Optimus Primal.
Okay, and he's a monkey.
Yes, and the new version of Megatron is a different Megatron.
Okay, and they transformed from a monkey to
robots.
Okay.
It's not that confusing. They instead of vehicles, they became animals. Hence why it's called Beast Wars.
Okay, so they transform from a humanoid thing into
animals.
Animal. Okay. All right.
Yes. For robots and
problem is, I haven't seen this cartoon. I think that the only time I saw it was like vague recollections from when I was a kid, and honestly, I don't even remember what they looked like. So I'm just having a hard time remembering what this was, what this is. Okay. How I'm having a hard time picturing it in my mind's eye. I'm not saying it's stupid. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm just saying I am having a hard time picturing it. To quote that guy from Big, I don't get it.
That's okay. Sorry. That's okay. You don't have to get it.
Okay.
Just try to educate you.
Okay.
So, the good thing was that the writers of the TV show actually formed a good close friendship with the fan base, and the fan base basically taught them about the G1 mythology and stuff, which was inserted into Beast Wars, which served as a direct sequel to the 1980s cartoon. I think what was revolutionary about it at the time was that it was the second completely CGI animated cartoon after Reboot in 1996, I believe.
And Reboot has got its own reboot recently, hasn't it?
It's dreadful.
I never saw Reboot, the first one, so
that's okay. I mean, if you look, you look at it now.
I know it's okay, Mug. I'm not coming to you for validation here.
I know that, but if you look at Reboot now, the original Reboot. God, that's so annoying. I have to say that. If you look at it now, the animations, the animation looks stupid, but it was revolutionary and state of the art back in 1994.
And the animation they've got for it now is not state of the art and not revolutionary. If it's anything, it's bog standard or worse.
It's below bog standard.
Okay.
It's under the toilet bog standard.
Oh God. But we're not here to talk about. So second fully CGI. Did it improve upon the CGI in any way?
Yes, I think it did. The fact was that they knew they had a budget, so they cleverly had a small cast of characters. They had about, how many was it? Altogether, I think it was like 16 characters across 3 seasons. So, and that allowed them to develop these characters over time. Because with the 80s series, you had about 100. Here it's down to 16 to 18 or 20 so characters, and there's plenty of time to flesh them out over 52 episodes.
Oh.
So that was a smart move on their part. This is set because you have to understand there's time travel in this show, so it gets a bit.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
It gets in a good way. So it's a bit confusing. The Maximals and Predacons are descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons. They both crash land on prehistoric Earth for vague reasons I can't be bothered to explain. And cleverly enough, they learn that the energon on Earth is extremely irradiated. What's the word I'm looking for? Irradiated. Is that the right term?
Yes. So
yes. Thank you. Yes. So they have to take on organic beast mode in order to survive outdoors, or they could react badly and die.
The robots need to become organic to survive radiation.
Something like that. I don't get how it works. Because
science.
Science is weird. I'm probably not explaining it very well, but that's just come up with.
Okay.
So I think another thing this show did, it introduced the concept of the spark, which is basically a Transformer's soul.
The all spark.
Yeah, but the sparks came first, not the big stupid Rubik's Cube.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of it actually explains where the Transformers come from, how they're made. It explained a lot of interesting things. So to begin with, you had 10 characters because need to sell new toys. You had on the good side, you had Optimus Primal, who was a descendant of Optimus Prime. You had Cheetor, who was the child-friendly character. You have the immature child character Cheetor. You have Rat Trap, who is basically Rocket Raccoon, is the best way I can describe him. Rhinox, who is Groot. And Dinobot.
I am Rhinox.
Okay, it's not like that. He's more Hank McCoy would be the best way to compare him to.
Okay.
Weird enough. And you have
Hank McCoy Groot.
Okay, fine. Scratch Groot. Never mind. He likes nature. That's the best way I can describe it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you took away from Groot. Okay, fine. Sure, fine.
I am Groot. And you have Dinobot, who we'll talk about in a little bit, because he's the best damn character on the show, if not one of the best characters in Transformers ever. And on the Predacon side, you had Megatron, yes, who was charismatic and quite ruthless, and he turned to a big purple dinosaur.
Oh my god! It's Barney! He's come to kill us all!
I love you, you love me, I'm going to rip out your esophagus.
What?
With a great big hug and a kiss on me to you, now you're going to die too.
Wow.
Okay, wasn't that bad. You had Waspinator, who talked like Gollum, and was the Kenny McCormick of the Transformers franchise. As in, he got blown up every single episode.
Okay.
Seriously, go on YouTube, look up Waspinator death scenes, and it's hilarious. He dies like a Looney Tune character every episode.
Awesome.
You had Scorponok, who's a dumb guy. You had Pterosaur, who was basically Starscream, and you had Tarantulas, oh wow, Tarantulas. He's creepy. He's incredibly.
Well, it's a tarantula, so.
Yeah, I know, but he's a cat. He eats people. He's incredibly, I suppose, kinky is the right term to describe him.
What?
And he's I know it's weird, and he's also a mad scientist, double agent, and also quite possibly a descendant of Unicron. So there's a lot going on there.
I'll say, jeez.
And then over time they introduced more characters for the first season. You had Pacifistic Tigatron, the Token Girl Airraiser, Black Arachnia, who I can probably best describe as a mix of Mystique and Catwoman, because she eventually becomes a good guy. And you have you have Inferno, who is a psychotic pyromaniac who, due to a glitch in his programming, he actually thinks that he's a fire ant, and he refers to Megatron as his queen.
Ew.
It's very funny.
That's taking the phrase "Yas Queen" in an entirely different direction.
Yes, he's like Inferno, go and do something else. Yes, my queen. And so
told you to stop calling me that.
They actually do that at some points. It's like, for the royalty, you will burn. And season 2, you get Silverbolt, who is this heroic knight-esque character. Quick Strike, who's a gunslinger. That's the best way. That's him in a nutshell. And you get Rampage, this deranged, cannibalistic, twisted character who was made immortal via basically torture by the Maximals.
This is still Beast Wars, right?
Yeah. So what I liked about the show is that the heroes and the villains are more in the grey area. The Predacons are considered second-class citizens because on the whim, they are descendants of the Decepticons, and the Maximals are implied to be more inhumane for what they do to Rampage. They experiment and torture him in order to try and replicate how Starscream came back as a ghost and stuff.
I think that's a good point to talk about. When did Starscream come as a ghost?
That's the thing. They never explain how he comes back as a ghost. Maybe it's a fourth thing. But he comes back as a ghost. He possesses a couple of bodies.
Megatron, you must go to the Dagobah system.
So he pretty much comes back as a ghost. Then Unicron restores his body, but I think that caused Starscream to become immortal because then he shows up in Beast Wars later on as in one episode. So that would explain that. And Rampage's mutation was an attempt by the Maximals to replicate whatever hell happened to Starscream. And it turns out the Optimus Primal's team was assigned to dump him on a planet somewhere so that they could cover up their mistake.
Wow, this is getting pretty serious.
Yeah, it's about to get even more serious. In season 2, it gets a lot more better. It gets a lot more interesting in the writing and stuff. We have to talk about Dinobot. He is the samurai-esque character who follows a very strict code of honor, but used to be a Predacon. And at the beginning of the first season, he basically got booted out of the Predacons because he questioned Megatron, and he joins the Maximals. But he's still very proud of his Predacon heritage because it's in his nature. So when he finds out what Megatron's goals are, he briefly rejoins the Predacons in a moment of crisis. And then in the episode Code of Hero, he returns to the Maximals and realizes that Megatron is planning to exterminate humans before they evolved, essentially, because they've gone back in time. And Dinobot realizes the full extent of what Megatron's plan is. So he goes on a suicide mission, defeats all the Predacons, and ultimately dies of exhaustion in order to save the future.
I need to watch this cartoon.
You do. You need to watch this damn cartoon. You need to watch it right now, or at least when we're done here.
Well, before I do any of that, we gotta plug TPub!
Oh, goody.
Do you want to learn how to make comics? You're looking for something to help you get started? Say, I don't know, perhaps a course taught by one of the best in the biz? Well, you're in luck, because Neil Gibson, editor and head writer at TPub Comics, brought you titles like Twisted Dark, Tabitha and Theatrics, is doing just that. Neil is offering a free webinar for anyone who wants to learn the TPub method for making comics. If you like the webinar, you can sign on to his web course and use the code CAPE to get a 5% discount. That's Charlie Alpha Papo Echo. You'll learn everything from how to write a comic script all the way through to how to market your final product. So, even if you can't draw, this course will help you break into the comic industry. So, sign up for the webinar at tpub.co.uk/free-webinar or use the link in the show notes and use the code CAPE, C-A-P-E, if you want to sign up for the course. Now, Mark.
Yes.
Beast Wars. That had to finish at some point.
Yes, it did.
Please tell me you know why that ended.
Yes, because it wrapped the whole thing up.
So they actually decided, okay, now we're finishing the cartoon. It's all done. It's all over. We're good.
Yes, they're always going to do 3 seasons. They're always going to do 52 episodes. So, great stuff. I won't give away the major spoilers, even though I already have, but They will blow your mind. Then it went on to Beast Machines, which was the direct sequel to that.
Okay. Weren't they already Beast Machines?
Oh, I don't get. Now they're Beast. I don't question these weird titles. They come up with them. I don't.
Okay, fine.
I think the marketing people come up with the titles. So it's not bad. Beast Machines. I've come to like it more and more of each viewing. I can best compare it to Sonic Sat AM in terms of storytelling.
Okay.
It's got a very similar premise. You've got the Maximals have come back to Cybertron. Everyone's dead, and Megatron is Robotnik basically, and he wants to wipe out organic life everywhere and make everything basically roboticize everyone, even though they're already robots. But you know what I mean. He wants everyone to be under his control. So the Maximals are given techno-organic bodies, which are organic mechanics. They basically become cyborgs, sort of, with organic stuff. So, and they're instructed to basically do the same thing to the planet by turning it into a half-organic, half-mechanical world in order to defeat Megatron. The series is quite controversial because of some of the writing choices for characters. First of all, it's structured like a movie, and it's stretched for 26 episodes. So there's a lot of padding to it, a lot of countless chase scenes, and some people detested how certain characters were portrayed. But I feel it makes sense in context of the series, because the Maximals have spent years stranded on Earth trying to fight a war they never wanted to begin with. They finally get home and they find out that all their efforts have been for nothing because Megatron has won. So
I hate when that happens.
I know. So Optimus Prime becomes increasingly desperate and irrational to try and bring about change. Rat Trap gets a new body which has no weapons in it, so he kind of freaks out about his own inadequacy and is even willing to go team up with Megatron in order to feel useful again. Rhinox, Silverbolt, and Waspinator are all pretty much brainwashed into becoming Megatron's minions, and they're given new bodies and shell program personalities. And Rhinox becomes the Hulk, basically. Silverbolt becomes this absolute sadistic asshole called Jetstorm, and Waspinator he actually likes what happens to him. He becomes this cool biker bot named Thrust. So when Rhinox and Silverbolt are both released from their Decepticon programming, Rhinox turns evil and decides that it's better to wipe out all nature in order to prevent wars. That's kind of like a twist on his pacifistic nature, and Silverbolt basically becomes Batman.
And I've lost interest.
Okay, fine. Batman's probably not the best way to do it, because in Beast Wars, Silverbolt, in Beast Wars, he's Superman. Then he is basically forced to become the antithesis of what he is as a heroic character. He becomes this sadistic, cruel, horrible person who has no sense of honor or dignity. And from that, he's left traumatized by what he did. So he's like, I must be broody and angsty because this is what I deserve for my bad ways. So there's this.
Okay then.
Again, you should watch it. It makes more sense in context.
I suppose, but honestly, just listening to you describe this, Beast Wars sounded interesting. Beast Machines, less so.
Well, it does drag on a little bit, but I think there's some interesting things about it. So the show ends. It only had 26 episodes. So it only had like 2 seasons. It ends on a high note, I suppose. And a lot of people they hated it entirely. Some people, they're like, "Oh, this is not stupid. This is not Beast Wars. This is stupid." So their backlash caused another Beast Wars sequel to be canned, and this is where the G1 cartoons ended because of the reaction to Beast Machines. So Hasbro like, what can we do now? All I know is Japan are doing a whole bunch of Transformers cartoons of their own. We should dub those and bring them over here.
Oh, finally.
That went well.
Oh, what happened?
Well, there's one good one. There's one good anime, and there's 3 bad animes.
Oh dear.
So the first one is Transformers: Robots in Disguise, which came out in 2001, I believe. I don't really have much to say about it. It's not bad, and it's not forgettable, but it's average at best. It had it was a very 90s anime, if you know what I mean. It had all the dramatic sweeping backgrounds. Everyone was making silly jokes and stuff, that sort of thing. The Autobots are back, led by Optimus Prime, hooray! But the Predacons are the bad guys. Megatron turns into a giant floating hand.
What?
I don't know. I looked it up. He just turns into a toy, into a giant floating hand. His toy becomes a giant floating hand. I think it's supposed to be a claw, but it looks like a giant hand.
He was originally a giant gun, but...
Yeah, no. When Megatron transformed into a gun, he was a normal hand-sized gun that someone else had to hold.
What?
I don't get it. I think they wanted to try to keep the toys.
I've changed my mind. I don't want to watch anything related to Transformers anymore.
Yes, you do. Be quiet. So, they don't really have that many interesting characters in Robots in Disguise. They have like one who is Skybite, who is this theatrical shark Predacon who really likes quoting Shakespeare, and he's become really popular with the fan base. The show kind of was doomed from the start because it started airing literally 3 days before 9/11 happened.
Okay, I'm not seeing the connection.
Because it had cut things, exploding buildings and stuff.
Ah, I get it.
So
now.
it's kind of got mass censorship, and is the only cartoon that hasn't been re-released on DVD, presumably because of those reasons. But frankly speaking, it's 100 times better than what came afterwards.
What came afterwards?
Next, we have the Unicron trilogy: Transformers Armada, Transformers Energon, and Transformers Cybertron. Or, as some people like to call them, Pokeformers.
Pokeformers?
Because the gimmick of all 3 of these seasons is to basically find mini Transformers called Minicons and collect them.
Oh, you're not even being subtle with it, fucking Hasbro.
They're not being subtle at all, are they?
Oh.
So, a second. So, Transformers Armada was out first. The animation wasn't bad. The script writing was horrendous. It had too many continuity errors. The characters were often named incorrectly. The dialogue was awful, and the scripts were just there. I think the one positive thing out of it was how they portrayed Starscream. They portrayed him as more this anti-villain, sort of a bit like Loki in a way. He wants the respect and dignity of praise of Megatron, but he's never going to get it.
Aww.
And so he was quite an interesting character in there. And there's this kind of he has this very close relationship to one of the human characters, which remind me a bit of Katara and Zuko's weird relationship in Avatar.
Aww.
So that's like the one positive from Armada. We'll jump straight to Transformers Energon. Oh boy, what a tragedy! How it's dreadful.
Tragedy. It's tragedy.
It is just in my opinion, it's the worst Transformers cartoon they've ever made.
Oh.
Everything, and I mean everything about the show sucks. All of Armada's problems are turned up to 11. The scripts are garbage. The dialogue is atrocious. The characters are all equally stupid. There isn't enough story there isn't enough story to fill up the whole 52 episodes. They reach because at the start say, "Oh, we're going to resurrect Unicron. We're going to rule the world." Episode 20, they resurrect Unicron.
Oh dear.
Then I think the writers just ran out of things to do, so they then repeated the same thing twice over in the show.
Oh, now we're going to try and resurrect Unicron again.
Yeah, pretty much. They do it again.
Try again. Third time's the charm.
They do. The worst part has to be the animation, because they use the
What year
human
was this?
2002, 2003, 2004.
When there was really no excuse for bad animation.
Yeah, so the Transformers characters were cel-shaded 3D characters that were so stiff and lifeless. They moved like Lego figures in stop-motion cartoons. It was just so dreadful.
Oh dear.
And they couldn't express physical emotions. So every single character Transformer had the exact same expression for every single thing they saw, and they're just so utterly dead inside and wasteful. Because my favorite character, I actually have a favorite character in this anime. It was called, he was Demolisher, who was the loyal guide to Megatron, who was the one that would be there for him to the end of days and stuff. He was a really nice guy. Megatron dies in Armada, comes back in Energon, but Demolisher has become loyal to the Autobots in his absence. So there's that push me, pull you, will I, won't I, go back to the Decepticons type thing. He ultimately blames Optimus Prime for his inability to decide and dies to protect Megatron. It's like, oh, Demolisher's dead, no! Next episode, he's back from the dead as a brainless monkey ape-like figure with no memory of his past. And he stays that way.
Of course.
It just really ticks me off. And then there's Inferno, who Megatron tortures with a program that will make him harm the Autobots.
What is with all the torture in these kids' cartoons?
I don't know. So Inferno says, I would rather die than hurt my friends, and he throws himself into the sun. It's like, no, not Inferno. He's back the next episode, and he's completely fine, and he's no personality. And they do nothing with him. Oh, and they bring back Starscream as well, because he died a hero in the Armada, so let's bring him back as well and do nothing with him either.
This is what happens when you just have no ideas.
Exactly.
And you don't care.
Exactly. And then you have the third one, Transformers Cybertron. It's not bad. It's an improvement over Energon. But the animation...
if you ever opened something by saying, like, oh, here's this thing, it's not bad... then that doesn't mean it's good either.
I suppose not. If you compare Energon to Cybertron, Cybertron is better. Barely.
Okay, well, let's compare shit to diarrhea.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the animation, the scripts are a bit tighter, the voice acting was better. The animation was even more robotic than, no pun intended, than the one in Energon, because the characters are even more emotional, and the only bits of the bodies that visibly move are the mouths, and they look like those of Jerry Anderson puppets.
Oh god!
It's like, it's Thunderbirds, the Transformers. So, and the problem is with this one is that the Japanese version was not connected to Armada and Energon. It was its own separate thingy, so they had to retroactively rewrite it to fit in as part 3 of this stupid trilogy.
Oh, yet another American dub goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So Unicron got blown up at the end of the second season and became Black Hole for some reason. Don't ask me how that works, because he's evil, I suppose. And the Transformers were quick. We've got to evacuate Cybertron before it gets sucked into the hole. Let's go to Earth. But sir, we've never been to Earth before. Even though they've been there, they live there, they've been there the past 2 damn shows. I was like, duh, we've never been to Earth before, we know nothing. Oh, yuck. So it's just god awful. So it's just that the trilogy in altogether is just awful. And this is like going on for like nearly 10 years.
Oh god, that is a dark era.
Yes, well, it was the Dark Age for the Transformers.
Oh god, but does this story have a happy ending?
I suppose, in a way, because at this point, Transformers was kind of no longer relevant. Not many people watched it anymore. And then the movies happened.
Yay!
So it kind of re-brought back interest in Transformers. And that's where the next cartoon comes from. Transformers Animated.
That's it, animated.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Transformers Animated.
Okay, good.
This is a good one.
Oh,
in
really?
my opinion, it's a good one. Because it has a very Cartoon Networky feel to it. It's quite fun, but it has good characterization and drama as well. So it does exactly what you want a cartoon to do, by making its characters interesting, funny. The story's great. It's
just a solid cartoon.
Yeah, it's a very solid cartoon. It was done by who's done by the designs were done by Derek J. Wyatt, who also designed characters for Ben 10 and Teen Titans, so that's not bad.
Okay, yeah.
The problem was that because we have fan bases can be unpleasable. They'll react to anything in negative light. When the first picture promo art came out for this, they all flipped out and said, "Oh, this is gonna be the worst cartoon ever," because of the designs of the characters, because they had very exaggerated appearances. They were very big chins. All the cast have very big chins, but it turned out the cartoon was great because it's so different.
Once again, wait until you see something before you complain.
Yeah, so the story is very different because Optimus Prime isn't the leader of the Autobots. He's this young, inexperienced leader of a group of mechanics, basically, who get caught up in the Decepticons' plans to take over Decepticons are evil. They find the Allspark. Yes, that stupid thing from the movie. And they end up traveling to the near future on Earth and become superheroes in Detroit. So there is this wacky...
Motor City.
Sorry?
Motor City.
Yes, exactly. So I think that was the idea, actually. They basically become superheroes in this place. The cast is quite small. I like that as well, because there's a lot of supporting guest characters, but the main cast is small. So it's Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Prowl, who's a ninja, Ratchet, who's the cranky doctor, and Bulkhead, who's Patrick from SpongeBob.
And everybody died. The end.
It's actually, he's voiced by Patrick as well, so that makes sense.
Okay.
And on the bad guy side, you had Megatron, Starscream, Black Arachnia, Lugnut, who's the big dumb guy, and who is hilariously loyal to Megatron. I mean, religiously loyal to Megatron. He worshipped him.
Oh my god.
And Blitzwing, who suffered from multiple personality disorder. So that was played for laughs as well.
Oh dear.
There's some interesting storylines in there. The main human character is called Sari Sumdak, and she's got this strange, mysterious connection to the Transformers, which I won't give away because it's quite good. Another thing I liked about the cartoon is that it dealt with the consequences of the war.
Okay.
Because not as much as what will come later, but Ratchet himself was grouchy because he was haunted by his failures to save several characters during the war, and he has this history with this bounty hunter named Lockdown, who's voiced by Lance Henriksen.
Oh.
Who he gets bounties for various characters, but he always makes sure that he leaves with a quote unquote trophy. So he basically takes a body part of theirs and adds it to his collection.
Ew.
And you also have Sentinel Prime, who's based on the Tick.
Of course.
Because I think he's voiced by the same
guy.
I think he's voiced by the same. What was it? Townsman Colin or something like that? Might be wrong. He's voiced by the guy who voiced the Tick, so that's a nice touch.
Okay.
And he's just defiant, the most egotistical character you could think of, and he will be more egotistical than that character. And he's Optimus
more
Prime.
Egotistical than Zap Brannigan?
More egotistical than Zap Brannigan.
Wow.
So he's this incredibly egotistical.
Zap Brannigan, more and more, I'm realizing, has a lot of disturbing similarities to Donald Trump.
Ouch.
In both temperament and appearance.
Ouch. I suppose, yeah. So, the series pretty much served as a major tribute to the franchise. There are tons of nods and Easter eggs and influences and stuff from across the board. From the comics, the cartoons, the toys, even things that haven't been released in Western audiences. Several veteran voice actors from the past shows came back to reprise their roles. They even managed to get Weird Al Yankovic in there, that was quite a surprise. I think the overall quality of animated is pretty good. It has a lot of moments which would be considered dark for Transformers, because they somehow managed to make Black Arachnia and Waspinator tragic characters, which I was really impressed by.
Hard to do when your character is called the Waspinator.
Yeah, because he starts off, in this version, he starts off with this sort of like a mischief maker Autobot recruit. Bumblebee accidentally frames him for something he didn't commit, so he basically gets booted out of Cybertron, and the next time we see him, he's become this crazed, demented, golem-like character who wants to get revenge on Bumblebee for ruining his life.
I kind of want to watch this show now as well.
good. Watch this one as well. But because life is unfair, the show was cancelled. But because Hasbro had something else in mind, they had the next big cartoon already waiting in the wings. Transformers.
Oh, this is a spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man scenario, isn't it?
Except in this case, the Ultimate Spider-Man scenario was actually quite good.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently people were becoming very confused by these endless different continuities and cartoons and stuff. Because now the movies were so damn popular, and people were starting to get to the cartoons and the comics and things like, how should we tackle this? Oh, I know. Let's make a brand new universe that will be the flagship for Transformers for the next few years or so. So they came up with the quote unquote aligned continuity. I don't get why they called it that, because from the original idea, it sounded like they were going to try to shove all of the past continuities into one timeline, which would have made no sense at all. So they seem to just came up with something new instead. Okay. So they came up with a brand new. This would be like the culminate. This would be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Transformers. It will be the next big thing for the next few years. They came up with a pantheon of Transformers experts and writers came together and wrote a 300-page universe bible for people to follow. And they went straight they lost it in the drawer somewhere. They put it in a drawer and locked the key and then throw the key away. Because of course they would. So they came up. So this is where Transformers Prime comes into it. It's the main event of the whole thing. Because first they did a timeline of the whole thing. They had the video games, that was Cybertron. Then they had Prime, and then they had the two sequels we'll get to in a minute. I think Prime is it's the best cartoon since Beast Wars, in my opinion. It's got that same level of writing and quality to it. It ran for 3 seasons and then had a wrap-up movie. It's a mixture of other cartoons. It took inspiration from the G1 designs and the movie designs as well. Like I said, it had the writing quality of Beast Wars. It features quite a small cast. They managed to do pretty well with it, in my opinion. Even if they did have Roboto Ursi and Alex Kurtzman as showrunners.
Oh, God. Well, there's sometimes good at the show running, is not so much the movies, but even they're a mixed. I have very mixed feelings about those two.
Yeah, so do I. So in this version, the Autobots and Decepticons have brought the war to Earth after fighting billions of years on Cybertron, and right away it set up just how dark it was going to be. In the very first episode, we meet Cliffjumper, who is voiced by Dwayne Johnson. He's set up as a main character, only to get captured and killed by Starscream in the first 10 minutes of the pilot.
Okay.
I know, it came out of nowhere, like, ah! So, it never really goes into the wacky fun level of animated. It was quite serious all the time.
But not in a good way.
I know, in a good way.
Okay.
And what I liked about it is that the characters were all basically... It made it clear that these characters were war veterans, because they had been fighting on Cybertron for like a millennia, and now they've come to Earth, and they're going to do it all over again. So each of the Autobots, the initial lineup of the Autobots, are all pretty much suffering from PTSD. Optimus Prime carries immense guilt for causing the war. Bumblebee, he has his voice box ripped out like in the movie, so he can't talk. Ratchet is basically the same character as in animated. Bulkhead, of all people, is reimagined as a former Black Ops agent. And RC, who is probably the most renowned female Autobot character, because they don't have that many female Transformers for some silly reason. She suffers from major PTSD and survivor's guilt, because she's lost 2 close friends during the war, and because Cliffjumper gets killed at the start of the season, she's pretty much in a very bad way for much of it. Peter Cullen and Frank Welker are both back as Optimus Prime and Megatron.
Yay.
which is in there. You've got Stephen Blum giving a fantastic performance as Starscream. They even take the time to pretty much study Starscream's mentality and stuff, or why he always tries to overthrow Megatron. It's quite fascinating. I love what they did with Soundwave. They made him this silent, creepy sort of Boba Fett type character who never talks, but you know that he's always around listening and spying on people, and he will use their weaknesses against them.
Okay.
Very disturbing. Sometimes the Decepticons can be a bit... Sometimes the Decepticons are actually more fun than the Autobots, because I love Peter Cullen's Optimus Prime, but most of his dialogue consists of long-winded speeches. It's like, okay, we get it. You're Optimus Prime. You're the awesome guy. You don't need to give speeches all the time. And they made Megatron quite... they made him... Because in the G1, Megatron is just, your average, generic, take over the world bad guy, everything. Here, he is a lot more competent. There is a ferocious, angry side to him, but there's also traits of him being sympathetic, since he's in the history of this version. He started off as a public speaker who wanted equality on Cybertron, but in turn he eventually what power does to people, and he turned to this immoral tyrant who mostly everything he does is out of spite for Optimus Prime, who once used to be his friend. So there's this great relationship that he has with Optimus throughout the whole series, I think this is my favorite non-Beast Wars version of Megatron.
Oh wow, okay.
Might suppose he's voiced by Frank Welker, I don't know. Unicron, there's a really interesting twist of Unicron. You haven't seen the 5th movie, have you?
No.
No, because in both that and Prime, it's revealed that Unicron is Earth.
Oh.
Like, oh my god, no way.
Oh my god, the Earth is Orson Welles.
Yeah, pretty much. So he's not voiced by Orson Welles in this version. He's voiced by what's his name? I hate forgetting names. He was Denethor in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I know who you mean. Yeah. I'm gonna look him up. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go look him up, because damn it, if we get something wrong on this show.
Yeah.
John Noble.
Thank you. That's it.
I like John Noble.
Admittedly, this version of Unicron isn't as interesting as Orson Welles' version, but the fact that he's Earth was a great plot twist. So it's like, wait, is Earth going to be destroyed then? It doesn't get destroyed. They work their way around that.
Okay, good.
Ultra Magnus, who is kind of Optimus Prime's number 2, shows up, voiced by... Oh, what's his name? He was in Total Recall.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, the other guy. I can't remember his name. Damn it. I can't remember his name. I'm going to look it up. Yeah, so Ultra Magnus is this... he's very by-the-book type character. He's like... Because Optimus Prime is a bit more relaxed and stuff, but Ultra Magnus is like, we must follow protocol above all else, otherwise we are going to die.
Oh, okay.
And he is voiced by, as soon as I look at the cast list, he is voiced by Michael Ironside.
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I like the cast is that the characters are the best part of this whole thing. Although the humans can be a little bit annoying. Then again, you got
they've always been annoying.
But not really, not always. The Sorry and Transformers Animated was quite good. And Ernie Hudson is in this as well.
Ooh.
As the government agent guy. So he's hilarious.
I like Ernie Hudson.
Yeah, we all like Ernie. We like Ernie Hudson. There is one annoying character in Prime called one of the humans called Miko. She doesn't listen. She's annoying as hell. She's dumb. Like, you tell her, don't go following the Transformers into battle. It's dangerous. Guess what she does? She goes running off into battle and gets in the way.
Oh god. Oh, is she the Snarf?
Yeah, pretty much. She's Snarf.
Oh god.
So while this season lasted 3 seasons and a wrap-up movie. Unfortunately, there was behind-the-scenes issues going on during the time. There was like a creative control clash and things like that.
Oh dear.
So it caused some characters to disappear or die unexpectedly.
Was Miko
sometimes,
one of them?
unfortunately, no.
Ah.
Sometimes the story would sag a bit because a lot of in season 2 and season 3 they did the whole collect them all scavenger hunt type of thing they did in the Unicron trilogy again. Except this time the characters are actually like the characters. So and then it ends. The last episode of season 3 is awesome. Megatron shoots Bumblebee dead. He falls into this vat of Cybertronian liquid stuff, which is basically what they build all the stuff from. He then jumps back out, he gets his voice box back, and he runs Megatron through with his sword and says, "You took my voice from me. You'll never hurt anyone ever again!" And Megatron just falls off the side of his own ship and crashes down to Earth. It's brilliant.
Oh shit! Wow.
But then they bring Megatron back,
of course,
in the tie-in movie, possessed by Unicron. So then Megatron realizes just how terrible it's slavery and his just much how terrible he's been. So Megatron then has a change of heart and says, "The Decepticons are no more. From now on, there shall be peace." And he just flies off. It's like Megatron just called it quits. And Starscream's like, "What?"
Megatron's like, "I'm out, bitches."
Yeah, he does. He has a change of heart. Realizes what much of an idiot he's been. He's like, "Bye." And
sorry for killing you.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and that wraps up Transformers Prime. While Prime was going on, there was a preschool show called Rescue Bots that was on. That was a lot more kid friendly, that sort of thing. Do good, be smart, look after people.
Paw Patrol stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. Paw Patrol Rescue with Transformers. Then the most recent cartoon to come out was the sequel to Prime, which was also called Transformers Robots in Disguise. So there's now 2 shows with the same name.
Oh, God.
It's by no means confusing. Talk about a letdown. It's got the same problems as the Unicron trilogy.
They don't have enough story.
They didn't really have a story to begin with.
Oh, that's
the problem was that this is like, I don't know, this is like set sometime after Prime. Bumblebee and his own team of Autobots land on Earth, and they have to go every episode. They have to find a Predacon prisoner who escaped a crashed ship somewhere, and they have to basically arrest them. So
rinse, wash, and repeat.
Yeah, pretty much. So Optimus Prime is there for a while. They bring back a couple of other characters from Prime as well who aren't Bumblebee. And frankly speaking, Bumblebee was more interesting when he didn't talk.
Oh God, that's a really bad move. If your character is better when they couldn't communicate.
Yeah, and I can't bother to talk about the characters really because they're not interesting. Apart from Grimlock, who's one of the Dinobots, shows up. He's the T-Rex one. But the problem is this is supposed to be a linear established timeline and continuity. They changed Grimlock's character from how he was originally set up. So from being an Autobot warrior, he's now a former Decepticon who's escaped from prison.
Oh God!
I think he was voiced by Cyborg from Teen Titans. That was all right.
Oh, okay.
The animation is terrible. They somehow made the action scenes boring because they rely on slow-mo too much.
I hate that. Fucking Avengers Assemble did that too.
I know. This is the Avengers Assembled or Transformers. That's the best way to describe it. It's the same thing. None of the characters grow or change. Every episode they reset. When they bring Starscream and Soundwave into it, it's kind of fun because at least then you have them for a little while. And the problem is that they do have storylines that they're doing. But the problem is they spend so long doing these filler stuff that they get to it too late because there's this mysterious conspiracy going on in Cybertron that the High Council are trying to undermine the efforts of Team Prime. So Optimus Prime and co are all exiled from Cybertron. I was like, what's going on there then? That could be interesting. And all the Decepticons that show, all the Decepticons that are appearing from Prime, like, oh, Megatron's coming back. We'll see Megatron again. He'll lead us back to glory. I was like, okay, Megatron's coming. Yay! Megatron doesn't come. So they spend the whole series like, oh, Megatron will come back. He will save us all. Megatron doesn't show up.
Ever?
Ever. And the last 2 episodes, they meant, oh yeah, we've got to do that conspiracy thing. Let's wrap that up, even though we'd been focusing on not on it at all. And they are still doing the whole Megatron will come save us all thing, because the High Council turned out to be Decepticons in disguise. And they're like, oh, Megatron is coming back. Megatron will lead the Decepticons back to glory, and you Autobots are all finished. Megatron doesn't come. And there's nothing.
And it just ends.
It just ends. Yeah, it just ends. It ends on the Autobots arguing. Like they're in a comedy sketch. And that's exactly how it started. It's the whole rescue. That's the whole this version of Robots in Disguise went out. And well, that's it. We've reached the end.
Oh, so as per usual, when it comes to stuff like this, it ends on just a real whimper of shit.
Yeah. Well, the next cartoon. Then there's another cartoon coming out this year, I think, called, what was it, Transformers Cyberverse. Again, that's going to focus on Bumblebee, but I have no idea if this is set in the same thing as Prime or if it's a new thing altogether. Because the whole Align continuity just kind of fizzled out.
Oh god!
And we're kind of, I know there's a couple of other cartoons that are like 6 minute episode thingies called Titans or something or other, which has I think Ron Perlman and Mark Hamill are in them, or they will be in them, but I don't know.
Well, you know, something this popular, with this much brand recognition, that it's always going to continue. Just hope that when it does continue, it ends with someone trying to reinvent it in a positive way and looking towards the future and actually coming up with interesting characters and storylines.
Well, I'm mildly optimistic for whatever they're doing with the movie, because my theory is Hasbro have been planning to do this cinematic universe with their franchises that aren't Transformers. But now that Transformers has been cancelled, they're going to reboot it. I assume they're going to insert Transformers into this new thingy they have in mind. And hopefully that'll be better than what we've had.
Oh, God. Here's hoping. Now, I think, on that note, we're going to end the show there. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us today.
I am always honoured to be on this show.
Excellent. And don't forget, you can still pick up tickets to Leamington... Leamington Comic Con, April 14th. There's still plenty of time to get tickets, so you can come see me and Dave Malowski do a live broadcast of Podcapers. Ooh. And
it's Podcapers Live!
It's live! It's going to be awesome. And if you enjoyed this show, please tell your friends, shout it from the rooftops, and if you haven't already, go back and listen to some of our other episodes, like all our previous history lessons with Mark Russell. There's one with Sonic, Disney, it's all good. You can listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, or at podcapers.com. We've got a Patreon. Check out the rewards, patreon.com/AP2HYC. If you want to get in touch with us, suggest show topics, or maybe you want to come on the show yourself, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AP2HYC. Email us at podcapers@ap2hyc.com. Thank you very much to Dan Harris for our logo, the lovely microphone with the red and blue 3D glasses. And thank you for listening. This has been Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. Cue the music!